that's the road, the access road for the Sunset mine. And right there is a tailings pile or waste dump. And this pile actually contains quite a bit of fantastic ore. And that can be loaded right up into a truck and then hauled out on that road. And then over here is an even larger dump. The mine, the adit's right back there. And this is actually the main dump. Most of this material is lower grade, but probably still contains gold. This dump's a lot larger. You can see lighting's kind of bad right now, but right down there's the road. If we turn around here, see the mine adit back there. And then again, the high-grade ore is in a pile over here right next to the road.
Alright, so we just looked over the dump and we picked out a few kind of representative ore samples out of there. So what we have here are a couple different types of rock. We have this super white, heavily oxidized material. It's quartz, and this is where there was a lot of Galena and Sphalerite. There's not a lot of limonite in this stuff because there wasn't a lot of pyrite, so not much iron deposition. Then we have this stuff here, a lot of limonite. This was mostly pyrite before it oxidized. So here's the core of one of these white rocks. You can see all the Galena in there. A little bit of Sphalerite as well. And your free milling gold is most likely going to be in this stuff that's been thoroughly leached. You know, if there was any gold that was locked up in the sulfides, it'll be liberated in this material here. Also in this dark orange limonite material. And let's, this one here, it's a very heavy rock. You can't really see anything on the outside of it, but let's go ahead and break that open. Yeah, there's quite a bit of Sphalerite in there. So we're standing here on the edge of this dump here, and we just did a calculation on it from over there towards the tunnel to over here. It's about 40 tons of ore we calculated. Alright, so we just found a couple of these pieces of ore on the dump. They're these pieces of country rock or vein material, brecciated vein material I guess. They're coated in this microcrystalline pyrite. And this microcrystalline pyrite is pretty common in this district in some of the larger mines. In other mines in the district it contains gold, and the oxidized portions of the vein where this was present were typically mined for their gold content. So when you start seeing this type of material in the veins, you're typically going in the right track. So.
Okay, this is the Sunset lowest adit, and you can see it's back gated, but we're going to show you in a second that you can actually get a key from the Forest Service and open it right up, and you're in. The other benefit of this gate is if you need to store tools in the mine, you already have a door, and it's extremely secure. So we're going to head on in here and check it out.
Alright, so if you buy this mine, the Forest Service will let you use one of these keys here. This key will open all the gates on the claim. And it's a real nice little design here. You have the padlock that connects this removable bar to the actual grate itself here. So you just reach right around, you get the lock. Okay. Comes right off. There you go. And you're in, just like that. Alright, so we're about 50 feet in the crosscut here, and this is the #1 drift here. This isn't on the primary vein, it's on a smaller vein. And you can see the actual vein right up here. It's about 2 inches wide where it's exposed here. And you can see all the sulfide in here. Pretty nice mix of pyrite and sphalerite. And it's oxidized on the margins between the hanging and footwall, or on the hanging and footwall. So if there was any free gold, that's probably where it would be, is in these oxidized zones here.
That's looking down the #1 drift. And this is where we were looking at the vein, and then crosscut continues this direction. Okay, so we're gonna head down the first drift to the right here. Looks like it dries out a bit up there, which is nice. And you can see there's a set of rails, it looks like, on the ground in addition to the air line, or the whatever that hose is. So they had ore carts running through here at one point. And that just keeps going. Shit. Here's some miner's graffiti we found on the wall down the #1 drift. It looks like it says CSH. It's probably someone's initials. And it looks like there's supposed to be a date underneath it, but can't quite tell what that says. It looks pretty old though. It's always cool to see. Okay, so we're looking at sort of a dugout area here. Some timbering, loose timbers. And then around the corner here is the end, the face of the #1 drift. So this went back a couple hundred feet, I would say. And some very good vein material in here. Go for it.
Alright, so we're here at the end of the #1 drift, and as you can see the tunnel widens out quite a bit here, and between the foot wall and the hanging wall over here it's about 8 feet wide. It is vein material from one wall to the other. It's pretty impressive. Let's shine it up here real quick.
Sick.
You can also see, if you look closely at the vein here, got all these little bunches of sulfides, mostly sphalerite, all in here. It's oxidizing on the outside of those little bunches, and that's where your free gold's going to be, right there.
Alright, we're coming back out toward the main crosscut tunnel. Okay, so we just came from that way. That's the first drift. And this is the crosscut. So we'll continue onward here. Alright, we're rounding a corner here down the crosscut, and there's some really cool timbering here. Got some shoring there. Timbered arch. Seems to be in pretty decent shape. And around here, tunnel keeps going. So to the left here, before the timbering, is this 10 foot long tunnel. We can see the end from here. We're probably not going to go back there. Yeah, and that's looking toward the timbering. Alright, so this timbered area marks the beginning of the number 2 drift. So we're now along a second vein in the mine. And we'll probably take some samples out of here as well. So looking down the tunnel, a pretty substantial hanging wall on the left here. And it looks like these pieces of wood form ore cart track ties. Kind of cool. So this tunnel is very, very extensive. It just keeps going and going.
Look at the hanging wall on this.
Yeah. Alright, so continuing onward, it looks like it's bending off to the right. Yeah. And this just keeps going and going. Alright, so the tunnel appears to have lost the vein. So we're technically in a crosscut at this point. That's continuing forward, and to the left here is a cutout area with some loose material. And right there is a piece of a dynamite box. And again, that's the tunnel continuing forward. Yeah, it just keeps going. Alright, so we are back on the number 2 vein. As you can see, it's highly mineralized in here. And it just keeps going. Alright, so we continued onward and ran into another junction. So, tunnel off that direction. That one kind of looks like a dead end. And tunnel continuing onward that way. There's a really cool little formation here. Sort of looks like a desert plateau or something. And up above it are these giant stalactites all over the ceiling. Unfortunately, that tunnel is not accessible, but to the left here, this tunnel continues onward. Okay, so we're coming back out of one of these tunnels. The tunnel started shrinking from the ground up, so couldn't make our way all the way to the back. So we're going to now explore some of the other tunnels we passed up on. Alright, continuing onward down the main tunnel. Ore cart tracks are back on the ground. This part of the tunnel's a little taller. Looks like here they did some stoping, slight stoping. Look up there, you can see the vein they're removing the ore from. Alright, we're approaching another timbered region here.
It's the mother of all stalactites.
So it looks like right above this timbered arch is a giant stalactite. That entire body there appears to be a stalactite. And that's pretty crazy. This is a nicely timbered area. Got shoring on the left there and on the right. Very nice. Looks like the tunnel might finally end though. Okay, so we're standing in the timbered arch, and the tunnel terminates right back there. So we're going to go back and take some samples and some pictures, and then we'll head up to the upper tunnel. I think we're probably at least 1,000 feet back at this point. We've been in here for 30 or 45 minutes at least. It's a very extensive mine, and it honestly surprised us. So, yeah, this is an awesome mine, especially for a recreational miner. It's extremely extensive. So, anyways, that's the end of this tunnel. So, we'll head on back out. There's the location of Drift 2 Sample 1. You can see very interesting material up here. And above it, a lot of stalactites and other natural formations. Alright, so we're standing on the dump of the middle adit, the middle sunset adit. It's a pretty substantial dump, just like the lower adit. And actually, it's hard to see on the camera, but directly below us is the lower adit. And if you follow the road up this way and then around, you'll end up on this road, which will take you directly to the middle adit. So this is literally 10 feet off the road. And this one's backgated as well. So you can just retrieve a key from the Forest Service and you have unlimited access to this mine. Alright, we're right inside the portal of the middle sunset adit. And just like the lower, you have a removable bar with the key that you can get from the Forest Service. You can take that bar out and walk right in. So we'll head on in here and check it out. There's looking out toward the portal. The road is just 10 feet beyond the portal there. And this is starting down the tunnel. You can see this tunnel is completely dry. And we'll head on down there and check it out. That's another shot looking down the tunnel right here. We're about 15 feet in.
Here just 10 feet from the grate, and you'll notice that the vein material in here is completely oxidized as compared to the lower adit that we were in just a little while ago. So in theory, this is where your free milling gold is going to be in here. And this is just an example of some of the loose stuff falling off the wall here. You can see that pretty much all the vein material has these seams of limonite all in here. So this is where your sulfides were, and they've been oxidized from waters, percolating down through the vein. So this is where your free milling gold is going to be. And if you look all over the ceiling here in the mine, it is just seam after seam of this material in here. So there's more in this mine than realistically you could ever mine.
Alright, continuing onward, we've reached a small little rubble pile here. Some timbering. And the tunnel keeps going, and it's still dry. Little alcove off to the right there. Tunnel keeps going this way. Keeps going for a long ways. This mine is a lot more extensive than we imagined it would be. Both the lower and the middle adits. This just goes for a ways back here. And looks like we have a tunnel off to the right here. And tunnel continues that way as well. So we're down the right hand branching tunnel, and it actually just ends right there. And there's also a little cutout area to the left. So we'll head back out toward the main tunnel. Alright, continuing onward down the main tunnel.
Alright, so we're about 150, 200 feet in the tunnel at this point, and we just came across this ore chute that's exposed in the ceiling here. And this is truly some fantastic mineralization here. That is not an overstatement. This is, I mean, it's got to be close to 20% by volume sulfides. We got Galena, Sphalerite, Chalcopyrite, Pyrite. We got oxidation minerals. You got Azurite, Azurite all up in here, the blue. You got green malachite. I mean, it is very nice, about 2.5, 3 feet wide all the way over to here. It's at least 15, 20 feet long. And I mean, who knows how far up it goes, probably a pretty good ways. This is a very nice little ore chute here. Okay, so we followed the dip of this big lens of sulfide ore down, and then, well, it's actually more the oxidized stuff at this point. The big lens of sulfide ore is going to be about right here. But over here, we have more of this oxidized material. And as you can see, I mean, this stuff looks fantastic. It's just loaded with these little seams of this, what appears to be some kind of a limonite that's been turned into a gouge. I mean, it is real primo looking stuff.
Okay, we're passing by where we first discovered this chute of ore, and tunnel continues onward here. It's a bit short back here, but alright, and we've arrived at the face of the middle adit.
Alright, so we're at the face of the middle adit here, and as you can see, the vein extends for the entire width of the face here. So now this material over here, just eyeballing it, it doesn't look the best. It starts getting more oxidized over here. You might start be getting into a little more here. I mean, again, it's hard to say eyeballing it. It could have tons of gold in it, but this is the primary ore body over here. Just a quartz vein. It's about 3 feet wide, and if you look closely at this stuff, it is just some incredibly beautiful vein material in here. For instance, up here we have these cherty quartz veins, super dense quartz, with these little inclusions of sulfide ore, and then those inclusions have oxidized, and now you have this beautiful malachite inside of this cherty quartz. It's really neat material. So we're about 50 feet back towards the entrance from where that Bonanza high-grade sulfide ore was, and we're just chipping away here, and as you can see, it is persistent. It comes all the way down here, so, and I mean probably quite a bit further towards the entrance, so it's all covered in this little layer of blasting sort of dust that's turned into mud, but the vein is right underneath of it.
Alright, so I was out here putting the stakes in the ground, and I just randomly came across a 4th adit here at the Sunset Mine, Sunset Claim, and we had no idea this was here. And if you follow the path of the tunnel out here, you can see there's a set of rails on the ground. It looks like a drift tunnel right along a vein. I'm not sure. I doubt this is the same Sunset primary vein. Highly doubt it, but we'll go on in here and check it out. It's not gated at all. There is a beautiful set of rails on the ground. There's a nice sized dump outside. You know, this mine just continues to surprise us. Now just take a look at these rails. Alright, further into the mine, this new adit, and there's some gobbing on the left here. It's pretty rare to see, actually. It's a very old method of removing or disposing of waste material. They just stack the rocks, the waste material there in a little alcove, and that's one method to dispose of excess material. The tunnel continues that way. Okay, so we turn the corner, and unfortunately this is the end of the line. That's the face of this lowermost adit.